Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're going to explain one of the platforms for conducting an electronic PBL. Because during this whole time, we need to actually proceed in as close with assumptions of PBL as possible. So after going through a few different platforms for the purpose of being user friendly, we have picked this platform. So let me just introduce you and how to develop it. So just go to a website called www.padlet.com. So website is basically a Padlet, and then once you are already inside the Padlet, you need to log in, clicking the login, and you must be having your own password ID for Gmail or Apple IDs or Microsoft IDs. Just click any of the options which you feel comfortable with. So for example, this is one of the Gmail I've created, is trial EPBL for all of us. Click this one and you are already signed in into the Padlet. So once you are already inside the Padlet, you have to click make a Padlet. So you have different options here. So for PBL, ideal is to pick the shelf option. Click select here. So this is basically your platform for ePBL now. So we'll make some differences. For example, in the title here, we can change it to, for example, PBL module, for example, GIT. And down there, description could be, for example, case 1, session 1. Remember, we are using this platform only for the purpose of session 1 of the PBL. So you can make some changes as the way you want. For example, we can change the color of the gesture or the way you want. I will prefer the white color, for example. So once you are done with this part, remember one small trick here. You go down here for this command window, for this command part, please click this one. Otherwise your PBL will be having an issue and the students cannot comment. So once we are finished, click next, and here we go. So now remember, we can create different columns. So the first column, remember, we have the triggers column. Then we go to the next one, will be your um, difficult words. And then we move on to the next column, which will be basically key information. We move on. Next part will be your associated questions. The problem associated and questions, for example. So whatever scheme you're using, because PBL come with different schemes, you can use the way you want. And yes, we move on. We have the learning outcomes. And then we got the references of the sources. So that is how we create all this column. Now what you have to do, example for the trigger 1, which will be only for the facilitators. Column number 1 will be for the facilitators. Column number 5 will again for a facilitator, and column number 6 will be for facilitator. So once you are done with this part, you have to go to the difficult terms, for example, which will be for the students, or we call the scribe, because only the scribe we will ask to write up everything, and he will be representing the whole students. Here again the same thing, we write in with the scribe, and then we go to the problem associated question. This one we will leave empty because facilitators and scribe can both contribute here. So now, for example, this is your platform which is ready. So normally the PBL coordinate just copy paste this URL and email to the facilitator, and facilitator will be signing in with using a specific password and ID which is given by the PBL coordinator. But the students will be given this link. How we are going to link the link? We will going to use the journal WebEx session, and where we are going to share the screen using this Padlet, and students will going to open this URL and they can comment and they can do all kind of interactive discussion, whatever they want. Verbal discussion will be through the WebEx, but the written description or the scribe is going to write up everything here. For example, trigger 1, in the title we are going to write, for example, we are going to copy paste trigger 1 which you will be receiving from your PBL coordinator. For example, a man age 35 years was admitted with difficult breathing and severe headache. So you have to click only this plus sign and you can bring in trigger 2. So you already have the triggers from the PBL coordinator, you just need to copy paste here. Now you will open after trigger 1 the whole session for the discussion. Trigger 1 will be read by one of the students, and then the scribe is going to type in everything here whatever the students want him to. For example, he's going to click plus sign and they can write it here. So in the title the student is going to write their name. For example, Atif is the name of a student, and they're going to write here, for example, COVID-19. For example, we just assume the difficult breathing, or for example age, for example headache. So whatever we want to type in, we can still type in here. So similarly, another student came in, he will click here and I will say, for example, Ali, and he's going to type in some other thing, age. So more people can just click plus sign and they can add in here, but we are putting in a way only for the scribe, so it should be only one name. For example, if the scribe is Atif, so it's only going to be Atif here. So then we go to the key information, problem associated questions, all those things can be gone through. But at the end of this session, the facilitator is going to click this plus sign and going to copy paste all the learning outcomes which he has received via email from the PBL coordinator. And here in the references, again he's going to copy paste all the references which he received from the PBL coordinator. So after trigger 1, trigger 2, trigger 3, they will all be followed and this thing will all be done. So yes, we are going to share all the session through the WebEx for sure, and it will be one of the most interactive session and the most user friendly for all of us. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions, please, you are welcome to come back to me, inshallah.